kills me. I see your face in strangers in the street. I still see your name when I'm talking in my sleep. And in the limelight, I play it off fine, but I can't handle it when I turn off my nightlight. But I can't handle it when I turn off my nightlight. They say that true love hurts, well this could almost kill me. Young love murder, that is what this must be. I would give it all and not be sleeping alone. The life is fading from me, well, you watch my heart bleed. Young love murder, that is what this must be. I would give it all and not be sleeping alone. Remember the time we jumped the fence when the Stones were playing and we were too broke to get in. You held my hand when they made me cry. Wow, I swear to God it was the best night of my life. When you took me across the world, we promised that this would last forever, but now I see it was a past life, a beautiful time, drunk off of nothing but each other till the sunrise. Drunk off of nothing but each other.
Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Pat DeBear, and I am so excited to have you all join us. It is the Adam Noreen Futureland Part 2 virtual listening party, and I am super excited that Adam asked me to host this. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the sound was coming through okay for, it was given a little taste of Futureland Part 1. We didn't know it was Part 1 at the time when it came out, but now we do. That was the Harold song, a Kesha cover. And for those who know me, know that I'm a huge Kesha fan. So when Adam and I were first introduced, the fact that he had a Kesha cover, I was immediately smitten and figured that we would start it off with a little Kesha cover before we get into all the new stuff that we're going to be playing for you tonight. Now, I know that my handsome face isn't the reason that you came here tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and we are going to bring on the gentleman of the hour and our special guest as well. We've got a special guest. So excited. We've been hanging out in the green room for the last little bit here, just checking, making sure everything is working right. I'm going to tell you this. It's a live stream. It's technology. There will probably be something that happens that will not be what it's supposed to be, and there will probably be something funky that happens. But I'm gonna knock on wood that this is gonna go over swimmingly. We will not have any issues, but just in case, hey, I'm letting you know at the top of the show. So without further ado, let me bring out, I love it, like I'm introducing like he's going to come out of the side door here. But we are so excited to welcome the man of the hour here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, hold on, good. There we go, Mr. Adam Noreen. We'll unmute you.
Hello.
Yep. There you go. Well, there we go. Never mind. Flawless stream down the drain. See, this is why we do this early, and we get all these little things out of the way, and then you don't have to worry about it. What's going on, Adam? How are you?
I am good. It has been a day. I have been looking forward to this all week, so thank you all for coming and watching. I'm excited to show you these songs.
Yay! I am so excited. I am honestly, thank you so much for thinking of me to be the person to host this virtual listening party. I am super excited to be a part of this whole process. We did an interview back, oh Lord, months and months ago, back in the millennia ago. That was 2020. You were a guest on my small business spotlight, and getting introduced to you and your music was fantastic. So I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me be a part of bringing your new music to the world. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Pat, because I know I could not have hosted this myself. I'd be having an anxiety attack for weeks.
Oh, trust me, I'm having an anxiety attack hosting it for you because I want to make sure that nothing goes wrong on my end. And you've seen my digital game night streams. Stuff happens. So, but I'm excited. We've got a lovely viewing audience. I'm seeing some comments already pouring in. Including Jaden, who just commented. Jaden is actually the person that brought us together through Facebook Messenger for my Small Business Spotlight series. So what's up, Jaden?
Hey, Jaden.
But what I do, we're going to get into this a little bit more as we go through this whole process. And before we bring out our special guest, I just kind of want to throw it out there. I'm going to throw it out there early, and I'll throw it out there often. But please, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Twitch, because this is being broadcast to both My Bears in the City Twitch and YouTube channels. Throw your questions in the chat. We get them either which way. And we'll be doing, Adam will be answering your questions throughout the evening. And even better, I'm jumping the gun here, but Adam launched a new merch store that we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit. And he's going to pick two of his favorite questions of the night to give away free merch to. Okay.
Woo!
So exactly. I'm excited. I'm gonna get into the chat on my phone while we're talking, and I'm gonna throw questions in there to see if you pick me. So I wanted to throw that out there first and foremost. I want to make sure that people know that this is an interactive virtual listening party. Pretend that we're all sitting together in a cozy little auditorium where we're all hanging out and enjoying this music together. Although after a year of not being around people, anything cozy, it's a little weird right now. But I do. I don't want to take any more time away from this with all of my wacky, comments. But I do want to bring out our special guest, who is a collaborator on one of the tracks from this album as well. And you two have lots of history together. So, without further ado, I want to welcome Connie Dizonno to the stream as well. You have to unmute yourself. There we go.
Technical difficulties.
We're getting them all out of the way now,
That's
so we
good.
don't have any issues later on.
That's good. That's good. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We got some people in the chat that are exclaiming about Celine.
Oh, thank you. Adam, we're famous. Adam, we're famous.
We've
They
got some
are
good
ready
plays.
and prepared. So for those of you who don't know the history with Adam and Constance and Celine, Adam, why don't you give the viewing audience a little bit of a background of how you two know each other and where you guys have come from and brought you guys to this point here?
Yeah, so back in college, which is crazy to say now is about a little over a decade ago, I formed a band with a few people, Connie included, called Celine, like the solution. Why did we pick that name? It's kind of trivial. I don't know, but
I remember why.
I remember why too. Why don't you tell people?
So my version of the events were we were all sitting there like really trying to come up with a name, couldn't do it, and then we were singing "Come Sail Away," and Tyler legitimately thought he thought that the words were "I'm saline away," and we just sort of like we like laughed at him like, what? That's the band name. So great story. Yeah, no, that's the meaning behind it. Just Tyler being Tyler.
Yeah. Often saying funny off the wall things.
Yes.
But yeah, so we were in the band for just about 3 years, I think, and some change, and we got to do a lot of really cool stuff. We went up to New York a few times, upstate New York, did an EP and an album, spent a lot of time out there. I think when we did the album, we were in New York for like 3.5, 4 weeks. And
yeah,
it's still to this day, like one of the best periods of my life because it was so carefree, and like our challenges every day were like creative challenges, which is super fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily all rainbows and butterflies either, because I had a lot of lack of confidence in myself as a vocalist. Connie is a classically trained singer. I started singing in high school because I thought it was the cool thing to do, and by
the cool thing.
by the time I started taking lessons, which was a short period of time, I already had so many bad habits that like the 3 vocal coaches I worked with were like, they didn't know what to do, and that's still a struggle. But obviously things have improved as time has gone on, but it was an interesting dynamic for sure. I know Connie and I being co-lead vocalists in a band, it was like we're both fighting for the spotlight at times.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not super proud of like the way I carried myself all the time as a youngin, trying to fight for the spotlight, but yeah.
Which I'll just say, you know what? Out of the spotlight, both of you, it's my spotlight. No, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I will just say, so if I mispronounce any of these names, I am so sorry. I try my best to make sure that I get people's names correct. I having a name like Pat, I got called Todd way too many times in my life to I don't ask. It's just what would happen. I would say, hey, this is Pat. They'd be like, oh, what's up, Todd? I don't understand it, but whatever. But Vandroy actually had asked about how you and Connie met. Literally, it was coming into the feed right as I was asking the question. So I love that was there, and that we've talked about that now. And they're calling out that Change Cup is still a favorite of theirs. So listen,
that's a good one. That was an Adam one. We each wrote. That was an Adam one. I like it.
That was a cool song. It was a cool song because like we each had our own parts, and like I wrote the song from 2 perspectives, the male perspective and then the female subject of the song, and Connie played that part. So it was a fun song to do. I tried to write a lot like that. I don't know why that was just always my preference, but yeah.
No, it was nice. Great. It was great.
Yeah, but we met because the drummer of Saline was actually in the former band that I was in prior to Saline. Red. Yeah, we were called the Falling Red. It was like I was in high school when we were in that band. I think we got the name from a random name generator. As you can tell, there's never been a very thoughtful process with band names. We're pretty awful. I think like the songs are definitely still out there. They're so bad. Like I think at one point the guy we recorded with like tried to auto-tune our vocals and like tuned it to the wrong key, and like we released it thinking it was like hot stuff. And I remember people like coming out to our shows in high school in droves. Like we would have shows at like some of the local venues, and like we would get so many kids from high school out there, and they'd be like, you guys are awesome. And like seeing the videos now, I'm like, oh my God, that is embarrassing. But anyway.
Hey, it brought you to where you are now. So
yes.
I mean...
Bringing it back to Connie, Connie was friends with our drummer. And so when the Falling Red was kind of crumbling as I was going into college, I was like, I want to work with a different co-lead vocalist. And we just kind of kicked off Saline. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And for those of you in the YouTube chat, we were, before we went live, we were actually just referencing. I'm going to keep it somewhat family friendly on my
It's okay.
part.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, there's a song out there called "Bleached Asshole" by Saline.
Look it up.
Number one hit.
Right, you gave the exact number when we were talking. It was like 13,000 and change views on YouTube.
13,763. So, number one hit.
I mean, listen, hey, it's, who knows? Maybe for Futureland Part 3, there will be a re-recording and it'll be added to the track list there.
I've legitimately been pushing for it. I have texted the group at least 3 or 4 times throughout the pandemic saying, can we please release a pandemic collaboration? Because that song, as vulgar and ridiculous as it is super catchy and also hilarious. So why wouldn't we want it on Spotify?
Right? Give the fans what they want.
I'm here for it. I would love to. That's our number one hit song. Like,
it really is.
It really is.
Bleached Asshole needs a 2021 remake.
Thank you.
It really does.
Thank you. Is it Van Droy?
Vandroy K, yes.
Yeah.
So Vandroy actually designed the silhouette design for my merch store. So when you all see that was him, and I love it. It's awesome.
Oh my goodness, Vandroy, that is fantastic. Listen, I just saw it for the first time today because Adam didn't send me the link to his merch store when he was setting it up like he was supposed to. So I just, I happened to go and find it. Van is just fine. Okay, well, Van. So when I went on today, that was the one that I was like, okay, I need this. And I may have also pushed Adam to add a couple of different pieces of merch as well with that design because I loved it so much. So fantastic. I mean, listen. Applause for Van there. Applause for Van. So let's so we've talked about Saline and how you guys met. We're gonna play our first track off of Futureland Part 2, which is The Day You Came to Me, which features Constance as featured vocalist on it. Why don't you, Adam, give a little bit of history, because I know this song kind of stems back a little bit into both of your history and into the Saline days. So why don't you tell us a little bit about The Day You Came to Me?
Yeah, so The Day You Came to Me is actually the title of Saline's debut album. And to be honest, like, it was kind of another arbitrary piece. I don't really think we had specific meaning behind it, but when I was writing Futureland, which I guess now is Part 1, back in 2016, I was going through a pretty awful cyclic abusive relationship, and there was like a specific night that really stood out to me as like extra violent, pretty scary. And so that song ended up being about that particular night and sort of my awareness of the situation, but also ignoring the awareness that I had, which, as anyone who's ever been in that situation, unfortunately knows, it's not the easiest thing to get out of. So anyways, when I was writing that song, I was thinking about just like needing to get back to my old self, because that relationship in a lot of ways made me into something that I wasn't. Like, the way that I communicated in that relationship was awful, and it like mirrored my partner at the time. And so the Day You Came to Me felt like a nice way to like put a throwback to my past, but also like it's sort of this like arbitrary message that still connects to the current at the time. So yeah, that's pretty much the background on that. And originally, when I did the full band version, which is also the opening track on Futureland Part 1, I had my good friend Toph. He did guest vocals on the chorus and at different parts in there. And so when I was doing the second rendition of it, I thought it would be a really cool thing to ask Connie onto it, which really rounds out the throwback to the past and the reference to Saline. So, yeah.
I don't know. Did you tell her that there may be some visual aids to aid in this throwback?
I didn't. I pulled some pictures from our past.
It better be skinny in them. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, that's good.
That was our album release show that we did.
Yeah, I love that shirt.
My sideburns. Look at the sideburns.
Oh wow! I didn't notice them right away. But
did you have those sideburns just to match Constance's shirt?
To be honest, no. The real story with my sideburns is my girlfriend at the time didn't like a beard, and so I did whatever I could that wasn't a beard that was still facial hair.
She didn't like a beard because she knew she was a beard at the time, or
I think that Kelly is probably tuned into this right now too. And if you are, hi Kelly.
And we have one more throwback photo.
Okay, we look great there. Deer in headlights, love it.
I mean, that has been my look up until I did the music video for Crystal Mirror a month and a half ago. This is how I looked in every single thing that I've ever tried to do ever. Kelly is
You're
here.
not
She
lying.
said hi.
Hi, Kelly.
So, yes.
I can't. I love it.
I think in that photo we were like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, babies, little spring chickens, you know.
Babies.
Too much. All right, so we are going to get to our first track. You all out there listening and watching us. We'll get to experience the first track from Futureland Part 2. I love it. We're just going to refer to the original Futureland EP as A New Hope, and we're gonna carry it on that way. We're retrofitting A New Hope onto Futureland for you. So when we get back, as soon as the song is over and we are back, we'll go. And there have been a couple more questions that have popped into the chat. So thank you. Keep those coming. I have everything streaming on the side here, you know, the chat rolling through. So we will see them. We will answer them. So don't worry. We will get to them. But without further ado, I'm so excited. We're going to play our first track from Futureland Part 2. This is the point where I sit there and I go, okay, mic's being muted. That's nothing. This is the first point where we're going to try not to have technical difficulties. But
Here we go.
Without further ado, here is The Day You Came to Me.
Familiar sounds from my past, they light the way as I fight through the undertow. On the day you came to me, a second chance to reclaim myself. I'm desperate for air at the surface, but your silence will keep me there. You never thought that I would feel like this. Well, look out where you left me. After all, this is the last time I will follow you into the dark. Well, look out where you left me. After all, this is the last time I will follow you into the dark.
Our common ground
like a peach. So this isn't what it looks like. That soft touch that I am feeling only leads me astray. Yeah, life is like a peach. So this isn't what it looks like. That soft touch that I am feeling only leads me astray. Only leads me astray. Never thought that I would feel like this. Well, look at where you left me. After all, this is the last time I will follow you into the dark. Well, look at where you left me. After all, this is the last time I will follow you into the dark.
God, what? I'm the technical I'm the problem. Adam, that was my first time. That was my first time hearing it. Like, done. I love it. It turned out great.
I didn't share it with you before the
No,
stream.
you didn't. No. No, you didn't. No. Or you did and no, you didn't. I know for a fact you didn't. But it turned out great. Like, honestly, I'm so happy that you asked me to do it, and I no, I love it.
Yeah, I love what you did throughout the verse, but also especially in ending the bridge of the song. Like, that
was peak Connie right there.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I really got a taste of what we were like when we were writing it, Salient, and I love how that turned out. So thank you.
Oh no, thank you. It's an honor that you asked me to do it.
It's honestly fantastic, and just great job on that, you two. That was fantastic. Let's grab a couple of quick questions out of the chat here. Nifty, who is one of my game night peeps who is tuning in right now, wants to know, Adam, which of your songs or an 8-bit remix would fit well in a Zelda soundtrack?
That's an interesting question.
I like this one. I figured it would be one that would make you think.
I don't think I've pondered this one yet. I don't know that I have an answer for that. I want to have an answer for that, but I feel like I have to force it. So why don't we do this?
We can always come back to it later. We could circle back around.
Yeah, and as we go through tonight, if one of them from tonight stands out to you as a potential Zelda remix, you let me know. And I probably have no way of getting that to happen, but if you know somebody who does, I encourage you to do that.
I can help pick out which song. I can help.
There we go. Adam, what made you want to move from being a band member to a solo vocalist? Asks Adam in the chat.
Yeah, so I was always playing an instrument in the band, but as Connie knows, I really never wanted to. But like, I was such a core piece of like writing the music that like it was hard to be like, all right, I want to write the guitar, but like not play it. And also, since we only had one other guitarist in the band, it really made things thin when I wasn't also playing. But in Celine, we actually did have a few songs where I got to put the guitar down and like be a real co-frontman with Connie, and that was really cool. But I think just overall, I've always wanted to be a vocalist more than a guitarist, and I was a guitarist by default. And I still, to this day, like, I don't want to play an acoustic guitar in front of people. Like, I did that in high school and college, and it wasn't my favorite. I like being in.
You know what you like.
Yeah.
So no, you didn't want to go the Lindsey Buckingham route. I got you. I'm just throwing out all of these 70s music references in our conversation tonight.
It's like they're like, whoa, over my head. I think my dad probably gets that though. He's out there.
Papa Noreen, I'm I know I felt super old. I mentioned Rupert Holmes before we went live, and both of them were like, "Who?"
Rupert.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's been named Rupert in the last 120 years.
The guy from Survivor is the only other Rupert I know, to be honest.
The orange-haired guy,
Rupert Grint.
Ron Weasley.
Yeah. You're right.
Ron Weasley.
I take that back. He's an anomaly.
They're few and far between at this point. Miles would like to know if any of the songs are a ballad about a girl you threw a rubber band ball at.
So unfortunately,
and also says congrats on the new album as well.
Unfortunately, not Miles. Miles is referring to Grace, and yes, I would love to write a song about throwing a rubber band ball at you, Grace. Well, Grace and I were previous coworkers, I think in like 2015 at this recruiting agency that turned out to be just a total train wreck, but we made great friends. And I would get distracted and I would just throw a rubber band ball across the room at her. And I remember one time, and like, mind you, we were like still new friends, but like I threw this at her and she turns around and she is pissed. And I was like, okay, I'll just go now. And I like went and got the rubber band ball, and I still had that rubber band ball up until I don't know where it went. I probably still have it in a box somewhere, but yeah. Sorry, Grace.
So we're going to move on here in a second, but there have been so many positive comments about the day you came to me, this new recording from Futureland Part 2. You know, Constance's voice adding a different layer of the song. Voices really complement each other.
Thank you all.
Love this one. And here's the question. So this is why this will be our last question before we get into our next track here. But Kyle asked if redoing this track brought up different emotions than when you recorded the original, and that it's one of their favorites from the first EP. Yeah.
So to be honest, my emotions for this song are like so dulled down right now. Like I have been at peace with that relationship and the subject of that song for quite some time, and that re-recording it for me was sort of like reclaiming it for myself in a lot of ways. Also, on another note, the original, I sang the verses a little bit differently, much higher, and like at the time I was straining my voice and it was uncomfortable. So when I redid this as an acoustic version, I kept that in mind and wrote it in my comfort zone a little bit more. And I think it actually turned out better, but now I don't have anxiety singing it, which is great.
Now there's just anxiety from everything else in the world.
Pretty much. That's a constant theme, as you'll hear in a song later on. But I'm sure folks around my age and, well, everyone in general can probably relate to some extent throughout the last year to that. So,
yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so we're gonna move on to track 2. I'm trying to pace this because we're having such. I don't want to interrupt the flow of this. I love the conversation. I love the questions that are coming in. Please keep them coming. Like I said, I see them all. We're gonna get to them, and having these conversations are fantastic, and it's a great way to be able to connect with each other in all these crazy times and share art, which is. Helped so many of us get through all of this in the last year. But I also want to make sure that we get everything in and we get all this done by, the hour mark, which is where we had planned this. Because when it comes down to it, that I can start chatting and we keep going. Next thing you know, it's 3 hours later and we've only gotten to track 3.
Yeah, you got to cut me off because I will go off on a tangent on everything.
I'll just start saying, okay, Adam, we're done.
Please do.
All right. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try it. Okay.
I'll just start playing this.
I think that's better.
And so, and just a reminder to everybody that Futureland Part 2 does launch. It drops at midnight Eastern. So if you're staying up anyway to listen to Taylor's version of Fearless, give Adam's Futureland Part 2 a listen as well while you're up. I'm just saying. Intermix the two. You can do it. It's good.
Easily done.
And you can also check out Adam on Instagram at Adam Noreen Music. And his merch shop is at adamnoreenmusic.threadless.com. And to make it even easier, I'll just run this at the bottom for a little bit while we're chatting. He has a link tree where it's a one-stop shop. Just go to linktr.ee/Adam Noreen Music, and you can click on all the links. It's got his Threadless. It's got the YouTube links for the videos that are out right now, and to the streaming platforms. So it's a one-stop Adam Noreen shop. I was going to work it in some point tonight. So actually, I will throw that into the comments. I'm going to turn off all the sound clips because Adam knows that if I start typing, that there's going to be a whole bunch of sound effects that happen at the same time. All right. Bam. Oh, and yes, Adam's Insta is full of super drool-inducing dinner pictures and post-dinner treats as well.
Yeah.
Just saying. So the Linktree link is now in the comments, both on Twitch and on YouTube. So click on that, and it's a one-stop shop. You get all of your links for Adam's everything. All right. Okay, cool. So let's go into our next track. The next track is In Wine, There Is Truth. So I know this one harkens back to Futureland, A New Hope. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody out there a little bit more about In Wine, There Is Truth.
I like that you've renamed my album.
We're retrofitting. Come on, baby. Go make it work.
Yeah, so In Vino Veritas is the track from Futureland Part 1 that this translates over to a new version. And that track was an intermission track for the album, but I loved how it came out. And like, I remember recording it and we were doing the music and like I had goosebumps like as I was hearing it for the first time, and it was super cool. And so that song's always just been really special to me. It very much reflects the cycle that I was in. And this new version of the song, it's lyrically extremely similar to the first version. And as anyone who's heard that will know, the lyrics repeat themselves over and over and over again. It's a very non-traditional type of song, but I love how this one came out because it's a completely different feel from the other one. And the other song was very conditional in the way that I presented the lyrics. And this is more definitive. And hopefully that translates if you hear both of them. But yeah, I got the phrase in Vino Veritas actually from my therapist a few years back, because anyone who's been in a kind of abusive relationship with someone who's an alcoholic knows in wine there is truth, and people reveal themselves when they are intoxicated. So that is In Wine There Is Truth in a nutshell.
I love it. Well, here we go. This is In Wine There's Truth from Futureland Part 2.
If the cycle repeats itself yet another time, I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now. If the cycle repeats itself yet another time, I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now. cycle repeats itself yet another time. I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now. If the cycle repeats itself yet another time, I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now. If the cycle repeats itself yet another time, I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now. If the cycle repeats itself yet another time, I know that I won't find my way back to you, my way back home now.
Okay, I will just say, first off, let's get the applause. Let's get the applause. I could totally see that in a cutscene for Zelda, for a Zelda game, as in the cyclical nature of the hero of Hyrule being reborn and Link and Zelda coming back into each other's orbit. So I'll go back and I'll answer that question from Nifty from earlier.
That. Yeah, I definitely vibe with that. So Adam, that track had me just thrown back into a memory of drunk night out in an Uber going home and just being sad, but in a good way, in a movie kind of way, you know? It was just very I'm in my feelings right now. I don't know. It was great. Very good. Big fan.
I appreciate that. I love how this version came out, because even though it's still kind of melancholy, it has more of a hopeful vibe than the former version of it, and the bass really jams. If y'all get to hear that in your car or something, the bass really jams on the song. So thanks, Steve, for that, because yeah.
Definitely, it's a rainy night drive, Van says.
Yes.
And Jaden agrees, it's very reflective. And Adam is saying it's feeling very therapeutic. So
Thank you.
Love it. So let's go on to our next track, third track on the album. It's called The Native, 2 Arrows. So tell us a little bit about this, because this has a tie back to Futureland Part 1 as well.
Yeah, so it's funny because The Native actually started off as what would have been one of Saileen's last songs as the band was kind of breaking up, the original The Native. And the band broke up and I took the song with me. It was based off of a painting that I saw in college of a Native American woman who was shot through the back with some arrows. And it was just a really powerful painting, and I wrote this really interesting creative short story on it for one of my classes, and then I adapted it as a song. And so thematically, I thought that it was kind of an interesting parallel between friendships that we form and how we oftentimes forget where things started and the people that helped us get to the point that we are. So in writing The Native 2 Arrows, this really started back in 2017 when I moved to Austin. A friend of mine gave me a ukulele for my birthday, an instrument that I had never thought about playing, but I was like, hey, I have a ukulele now. I'm going to make some chords and we're going to do stuff. And I started writing this song, and it was about a different subject than the first one, but the theme of friendship and broken friendship was really what centered the two together. And so, yeah, this one in a lot of ways is about friends that I had in Austin when I moved here that just turned out to not necessarily be the best influences in my life. And my awareness of that as our relationship was going on, and finally my realization that I needed to exit that. And so I hope that comes through when you all listen to it.
Sweet. Well, here we go. This is The Native, 2 Arrows from Futureland Part 2.
I wish that I could tell you that this story has a happy end, but I'd be lying to your face then, over and over again. This is now a way for me to step outside my head. I wish that I could give you everything that I swore we should have had. I didn't deserve this fate. 6 feet underground, 2 arrows shot right through my back now. Shot right through my back now. The further I go, the harder I fall. Everyone else gets to circle around me. The further I go, the harder I fall. Whoa. The further I go, the harder I fall. Everyone else gets to circle around me. The further I go, the harder I fall. Whoa. I wish that I could tell you that this story has a happy end, but I'd be lying to your face then, over and over again. This is now a way for me to step outside my head. I wish that I could give you everything that I swore we should have had.
Wow. There we go. There we go. Adam, a ukulele moment. It was like, it was nice because it's like this song, like the music was like very uplifting feeling, but then the lyrics, you're like, oh, wait, it's a little bit of emotion there. Like not as happy as you thought it was.
Yeah, it's like ukulele, but make it emo.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I love the comment that just came in from Kelly. One of my faves, and not just because the beginning sounds like a Hillary Duff song.
Kelly, you're 1,000% right.
What?
Nice.
But that might be the best compliment I've ever received.
Yeah,
ever,
it's a great compliment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Kyle
like,
is right on the money there. Sorry, just reading the comments.
well,
Very good at juxtaposition between music and lyrics there. So now, before we get into the last 2 tracks from the EP, because those have actual music videos. One is a full-out music video. One is a lyric video. I want to dive back into the chat because we have a very active chatting audience, and I love it.
Yes.
Let's go back and let's get some questions. All right. Okay, so you know what? Let's dig into this one from Corey first. Why Futureland? What does the album name represent for you? And is part 2 a continuation of the album, or does it signify a significant turning point or change for you, Adam?
That is a great question, Corey. Can you leave that question up so I can read it again?
Nope. Got to do it from memory. No.
So yeah, Futureland kind of represented this place that for me at the time of writing it didn't exist. And it was sort of this place beyond the situation that I was in. And if you listen to the lyrics of the track Futureland, it talks about like this place where there's no jealousy, there's no fighting. It's this like idealistic world. And so I was sort of writing what I wanted my future to be like back then. And in continuing this as a part 2, it does definitely represent a continuation and like a turning point for myself, because other than the first track, I mean, nothing thematically is actually connected, or I'm sorry, nothing subject wise is connected back to the relationship that most of that album was actually about. So yeah, I appreciate that question. It's a really good one.
I love it. Another good question is from John. He says that he ordered a T-shirt. When will it arrive?
Um,
I that's
I
you're
think
not threadless. We get it, but I just felt like
you're going to have to talk to a customer service agent for that one, because
that should be noted, like in your email you get afterwards, like your confirmation email. Like shipping should be this many days to this many, or
John, Threadless though is in Chicago, so theoretically you should get the T-shirt quickly because it's inside of your city. So
they're just going to run it out from the factory.
Yeah.
They're just going to run it right outside and hand it to you.
Yeah, they'll have like a little bike runner, and they'll get the T-shirt over to you probably tomorrow, if I had to guess.
Speaking of ordering shirts from your Threadless store, one thing. So I turned you on to Threadless, but you actually turned me on to the fact that, I guess because I have to go back in and check the shop that I have for our podcast, Flame On, which has a merch shop on Threadless as well, flameonshow.threadless.com for anybody out there that's interested. So shameless plug for me. But you can actually set the merchandise to give to charity as well, and you have opted to do that. Why don't you tell the viewers where a portion of the proceeds from your merchandise are going to?
Yeah, so 50% of all the profits made from the Threadless store are going towards the National Center for Transgender Equality. I think right now, more than ever, we need to be putting a lot of extra focus on there. We have a lot of rebuilding to do after the last administration and the way that things were put out there to the general public. So yeah, I appreciate if you can get something. I'm not honestly looking to make money with any of the merchandise, so I set it pretty high because I think it's a good thing to be able to give to them right now.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna be on that site ordering one of the silhouette shirts, because Van, I'm one more time for Van. One more time. That is a phenomenal piece of art that you did. So kudos to you, Van. There are a couple of other amazing questions that are in the chat, but I do want to save them for a little bit later in the probably after we've done the final video, just because they are a little bit more in depth and they kind of talk about a broader spectrum of the music and the writing process. So let's move on to our next track 4 from Futureland Part 2, and this is called Crystal Mirror. This is your official single, and the music video, which we're going to be playing here in just a minute. Why don't you tell us about Crystal Mirror?
Yeah, so this is probably the most personal song I've ever written, and the most deliberate I've ever been with my lyrics. In a nutshell, when I moved to Austin, I had an extremely great time being super social, but I think I lost sight of my real values that I moved here with, and I wasn't necessarily surrounding myself with the best influences. All my choices, that was choices that I made, and there was one night in particular that I consider sort of like the turning point for myself and like waking up from that situation. And Crystal Mirror very deliberately references crystal meth, which I did not do, by the way. But I did unfortunately end up in a situation where I was hanging out with folks who were. And when I went home the next day, I had this breakdown moment, and I was just thinking, like, how the hell did I get to the point where like this is what I have been around? And
that's heavy, man.
It was like the next that morning when I woke up and had that moment, like that's when I had started kind of talking to Al, my current partner, and we just really hit things off. Like I don't know, which will set things up for the song after this, but yeah, in a nutshell, that's Crystal Mirror. And I guess I could reference the music video and what that was like too.
Well, why don't we talk about the music video after we see it? That way, there's no spoilers. No spoilers for the video. And You mentioned, crystal meth. I just thought it was cocaine. Maybe I've just worked in the bar scene. I hear mirrors, and with the subject of the song, I just thought it was, doing lines of coke.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
It kind of all, it all falls in the same realm. So hey,
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, when you work at a bar, you're constantly surrounded by a lot of that stuff. So
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, this, dear viewers, is the video for Crystal Mirror, track 4 from Futureland Part 2.
I've been pushed to the brink, and I won't come back from this. I won't last another night. When you opened the door, it opened up my eyes. With every single move, I'm paralyzed. Now I can't see the memory.
Okay, so of course I knew there was going to be a technical glitch. I am going to do this a little bit differently, so bear with me, everybody. I know that the video is stuttering a little bit, and I want to make sure that y'all get the real full quality Adam Noreen experience with this. So bear with me all for just a moment. I'm gonna bring Connie back into the chat.
I had to take a potty break. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Yeah.
I want to make
for almost an hour.
Honestly, I go once an hour. I'm really just on a schedule now. It's terrible.
The viewers really wanted to know that.
I know. That was one of the questions that we just haven't answered yet. Everybody wanted to know, how often do I do that? What they're here for, really. It's what they're here for.
I mean, exactly. You know what the audience is looking for. All right, let's see. We're going to do it this way. We're going to try this one more time for y'all. Get a little behind the scenes magic of what's going on. Let's do this for a second. I want to make sure that I got everything set up right. Okay. All right.
The joys of the technical virtual listening party.
Exactly. Oh, whoop, whoop. Well, we're all really close. We all just got within the 6 feet, way within the 6 feet boundary. All right. Let's try this one more time.
I've been pushed to the brink, and I won't come back from this. I won't last another night. When you opened the door, it opened up my eyes. With every single move, I'm paralyzed. Now I can't see the memories, but I can't breathe. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. As the sun sets and the night falls, I wonder how things got this far. You should know that I could not have fucked things up without you by my side. This is the final mistake that I will make before I'll change my mind. As the sun sets and the night falls, a shadowed crystal mirror lines these walls. No, I don't understand what this means for me right now. No, I don't understand where to go. Every part of me is wearing thin and I just don't know where to go. No, I don't understand. 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 When you opened the door, it opened up my eyes. With every single move, I'm paralyzed. Now I can't see the memories where I can't breathe. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my As the sun sets and the night falls, a shadowed crystal mirrors lines these walls. As the sun sets and the night falls, a shadowed crystal mirrors lines these walls. As the sun sets and the night falls, a shadowed crystal mirrors lines these walls. As the sun sets and the night falls, a shadowed crystal mirror lines these walls.
Fantastic.
So good. So good. Oh, goodness. So I apologize for any of the technical difficulties on there. My computer is not built to be a streaming computer, and an hour in, it decides to be like, you've been doing a lot, bish. You might want to slow it down. So I hope that it wasn't too bad. I know it was a little slow in some parts. Let me know in the comments if the audio was coming out okay, if it sounded tinny. If it did sound tinny, I apologize. I can't quite figure out why it's doing that on on my end. What I'm hearing is perfectly fine, but that's because it's on my computer. So
it happens.
It does.
It
does.
does.
But
it's the format we're in,
It's a virtual world. It is, and it's fantastic and kind of crappy still at the same time. So, let's take a couple more questions. So with how everything has kind of been going with the videos and with doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do the rest of the program. And what I will do is play us out for the evening on 9/18. I want to get all 5 tracks in. I want to make sure that we get them all. But let's go ahead and do a couple more questions. There are a couple of questions that we'd already talked about bringing up that have come up in the chat as well. And then it's going to be Adam's turn to pick the questions that have. Oh, okay. You trying to get me to download new files in the middle of the show?
Maybe that's not going to work.
I love you, boo. No, that probably actually might work. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do. We'll see. But why don't we? All right. Let's move that over here for a second. Okay, multitasking. I promise I can do it. Oh, here's a quick one. We'll do this one first. Besides Nicki Minaj, who else influenced your vocal and writing style, Adam?
That is your number one influence. So
I was gonna say.
I mean, I hear it.
I don't want to offend anyone, but Mariah Carey, near and dear to my heart. Her New Year's Eve Yeah, her New Year's Eve performance a few years back in New York, it was like...
Listen.
So anyway, this was great that we would talk about Adam stuff. Anywho.
Wait, but listen, I had no idea. I also have been influenced by Mariah Carey, but every time you're like, anytime you're asked, like, what's your influence, you were always like Silverstein or Silverstein or whatever their name is.
Well, I was going to say that because that's probably the most honest truth, but no one knows who they are. So
okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I vocally, like, I would just sing to the bands that I loved and try to replicate their voices to the fault where I probably wasn't creating my own style at all. Hence the fact that my music still has that emo pop punk tinge to my voice. But like modern day singers, I don't like idolize anyone currently, really. I love a lot of ranges of music, and
it's good to let go of your idols.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Very good. It really is. You know, it gives room to just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And a quick shout out. Constance does have music out there. Just search for Constance Dizonno on any streaming platform. Pull up the music, enjoy it. That was asked in the chat, and Constance was kind enough to put a response. So
yeah, just figured I'd respond out of the way, but only listen to it while you're waiting for midnight Eastern Standard Time. So
exactly. That was part of Jaden's question of asking if you'll be touring and performing live again. You know, sometime when the apocalypse isn't right around the corner.
I mean, I would love to play again, but if I am going to, I would like to have a band again. And I just don't know that I'm in the part of my life anymore where I have time to deal with what being in a band is. And Connie knows this. Like, when we did it in college, we had so much time to just like practice on the weekends and promote and play shows whenever we wanted. But it's funny because I wanted that for myself for so long. And now I'm like, I really enjoy making music. Maybe I'll do some pop-up shows at some point with some friends or something, but I don't have anything concretely in my brain right now in the works for that. But I will be still putting music out in the future.
Hell yeah.
And John asked before because he thought you had to sew the shirts yourself. And I'm kind of mad that you were not sewing the shirts yourself. I'm just going to put that out there.
You know, actually, I was going to ask John to sew the shirts, but because they're threadless, there's nothing to sew. They just are.
Because it's threadless, so there is nothing to sew.
We're not sponsored by Threadless, guys.
We're sponsored by Coke and Pepsi.
Oh, let's see. I got to scroll back. So many great comments in there. I got to scroll through. Did you work with the same producers, engineers, collaborators on Futureland Part 2 as you did on A New Hope?
Yes and no. So I collaborated with someone named Toph Macier on the album on a few tracks. He helped kind of co-write some different parts, and he did sing on a couple of the tracks. He was not a part of this part 2, but I did still work with the same recording engineer, Steve Sopchak, out of New York. Recording in the pandemic was interesting because obviously, like, me flying out to New York was not happening like it would for former things. And so I converted our downstairs closet to a vocal booth. I wish that I had pictures, but I don't right now. And it's
I'm going to pop this question up because it ties into what you're talking about right now from Joey.
Yeah. And so, I started working on these songs. Well, I told you, like, some of them originate back to 2017, but I pretty much finished everything over the last 8 months or so. I think Crystal Mirror, I finished like super last minute, like in January, when I was hoping to put everything out originally. So work with the same recording engineer. It was an interesting collaboration. I would record my vocals, send them over to him, and then he would collaborate on a lot of the other part of the arrangement and make it sound a lot better than it would me just recording in my closet.
So going back to what you just mentioned before, Joey's question. So some of this process happened during COVID. What inspired you during all of this craziness to put together a new record?
Yeah.
Or to bring it together, I should say, seeing as how it's kind of, it's all brought you to this point over the last few years. But how, like, what made this the catalyst to make it all finally come together into one piece of art brought to the world?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it was just like getting to the point where now that I work from home and like that was suddenly an option where like I'm at home more and I have the availability of time that I didn't have before to really dedicate back to my art. Because since I moved to Austin, like the last 3 years until I started writing this, like I really didn't work on a whole lot. I had not written a song until last year, and it was like a 4-year break since Futureland Part 1 that I like actually finished something. So I think like I just used the pandemic as a time where like, yes, I have to sit at home, but like if I'm going to sit at home, I'm going to do stuff that like I'm going to process things and I'm going to write songs about it. And that's what I tried to do. So
it was just like you decided to do it, or was there something that like broke that writer's block? Because I'm on like a 8-year writer's block and I would love some pointers. Like I'm trying to write songs and it's hard.
Yeah,
Like
it really is hard. Like I find myself having writer's block often, and a lot of it, and you can relate to this, Connie, is like neither one of us like know music theory super well, or I don't think that you do, but
no,
like
I don't. I used to. No idea.
We both like learned the proper way in like music originally, but then like as we became like people in a band, like you don't write stuff down anymore, you play by ear. And so that's sort of like, it doesn't lend itself super well to when you hit a brick wall and you're like, what do I do next? It's like there's no process for getting yourself out of that. A lot of it is just like taking a break and finding inspiration and some sort of new feeling or moment. But I don't think like there's moments where I was like, I want to do this again, but there's not like a turning point moment where I was like, I need to have this EP all of a sudden. It's just once I started kind of playing around with a few different song ideas, I'm like, this could probably be something. And I originally wanted this to be a full-length album, but what I haven't mentioned yet is I think I am going to write, and I started working on this, a part 3. And so the part 2 and part 3 will actually come together and hopefully be somewhat the length of what a part 2 album would have been in its entirety. So be on the lookout for that, because I'm super excited about the song that I already started working on.
Hell yeah.
And y'all were laughing out there about me calling Futureland A New Hope.
Stop trying to make A New Hope happen. There was no hope.
That was when I wish I had the sound clip of Coco Muntrie's "I Lost All Hope Today."
Yes.
I love Jaden's comment of that there should be a Saline and Adam Noreen double concert, and that it would be amazing to have a reissue of both Saline and Futureland / Futureland Part 2 on vinyl. And Constance chiming in right after for the that she's here for the Saline Adam Noreen double concert.
Absolutely, I think that would be awesome. And now Saline is spread out to like 3 different states, and
none of us live near each other anymore.
And there's a baby now, and it's like if you're out there, baby, hello, thanks for tuning in.
Listen, now you have a built-in person to work the merch table. Get the baby working.
True.
That's true. That's all we needed to do back then, was just make a baby.
That would have solved everything.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be old enough now to work the merch table.
Exactly. Well, Elizabeth would like to know if there are going to be any more cat songs.
No more cat songs planned, but it could happen. I don't know about Futureland Part 3, but maybe I'll put out a little like kitty cat EP, but like not under my name, and no one will know it was me.
That's gonna be where the 2021 remaster of Bleached Asshole gets put.
Yes,
it's gonna be on the Kitty Cat EP.
Yes.
And now,
by Adam Meoween, you know?
yes, Adam Meow, my old self.
Well,
Futureland
listen.
part meow. Oh my god. That was a good one, Kelly.
Oh my god. Oh, it's being released right meow.
Right, Meow.
And listen, if Kesha can do a duet with $ha, listen, you and Adam Meow can do a duet. I'm just saying. The door has been kicked open wide for you to do this now.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've gotten to that point. Let's see. Make sure that I've gone through this extensive outline that Adam put together to make sure we covered all the topics. I think we have hit on everything. Listen, I am thrilled because I've riffed and I've made a muddy mess of this entire outline, but I'm hitting all the points, and that's why you brought me on board to do this.
Yeah.
You laid it all out there pristinely and in impeccable order, and I was just like, you know what? Screw this. We're going to talk about this now.
Yeah.
But I think we've hit all the topics that we were going to talk about. Was there anything else that you could think about or you could think of that you wanted to mention before we pick a winner for 2 fantastic Adam Noreen shirts from the new Threadless shop?
Yeah. It would probably be a good point to talk about the last song. Is this
Well, we're gonna get to that in a second because we're gonna play that as our outro.
Other than
let the host do this. You got this.
other than that, I think just like real quick mentioning about the Crystal Mirror music video, because I didn't get to talk about that.
Yes.
So interestingly, we filmed that whole video in my garage, and I bought 3 black sheets. We hung them in a huge circle, and I created this like enclosed dark space, hung a bunch of smart light bulbs so that we could turn them on and off at points, return them all to Home Depot later because that's expensive.
I applaud you on that, sir, because you are right. Those light bulbs are very expensive.
Yes. But yeah, my partner Al and my really good friend Mark, they both filmed that for me, and that was like really cool. I had to direct it from the other side of the camera, and I really had to get over like making faces that I thought were not great. Because as I shared earlier in the show, like I've always been deer in the headlights on stage, and yeah, I feel like I broke past that during the music video.
That's the most true statement of this entire live, is that you are a deer in headlights. Not anymore, though.
Yeah. And when we were filming the video, since we had the fog going, like we had to keep fumigating the garage like every 10 minutes because like each take, like we had to clear that all out so we could start again. And it was funny because we kept opening the garage door and like the neighbors outside are like looking in like, why like are they hotboxing the garage? Like,
oh my god.
And I think someone asked about it earlier, but the choice to do black and white was honestly a default thing that I had to do because the lighting was so inconsistent and the coloring from video to video was so inconsistent that I was like, the only way that I really know how to fix this is to make it black and white, and that really like puts a band-aid over the issue. And I thought that it fit the theme of the song really well, so I'm glad that those issues happened because I probably otherwise would have just kept it like color and it would have looked weird. So yeah.
No, I think that was a as Bob Ross would say, a happy little accident.
Yes,
on how that.
Yes.
Oh look, a reference that landed with my guests.
We finally got there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It took a while, but we got around to it. I apologize because I did not get this beforehand, so I didn't make you a banner, but I'm glad that you popped this into the comments constant.
Go check out her music.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there really quick. You could check me out, but also this is about Adam, so I didn't want to say it, but I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go full diva on this moment and just say follow me. But back to Adam.
Full spotlight.
Connie Dizonno. Yeah.
You know what? I bet that's not even a real tree in the background.
It's not. Oh my God. Wait. But I have so many other real plants.
Yeah.
So many other real plants. Like, look at these big boys over here.
Oh man. Yeah.
Those are real. They're stressed right now, though. They're not having a good time. I'm not a good plant parent, so.
Oh man. Well, anyways.
All right. So the last thing before we talk about 918 and close out the virtual listening party is to pick a winner, or pick two winners, I should say, not just one. We got two lucky winners tonight. That Adam, you were going to pick your two favorite thought-provoking, inquisitive, or just fun questions that we've had tonight. And those two people will get two Adam Noreen shirts from the new adamnoreenmusic.threadless.com store. So you don't have to remember names if you just remember the questions. If the question stuck out in your head and that's the one you're going to pick, I'll go back and I'll find them. And then we'll get in touch with them to get their information to get a shirt from you.
Absolutely. So top question, I think, goes to Corey. Corey Shippick. Thank you. Why Futureland? What does this album name represent for you? And is part two a continuation of this album, or does it signify a significant turning point or change for you? Appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate you bringing that up. I think that it was something that I wanted to organically talk about and couldn't figure out a way to do that. So thank you.
Perfect. So go ahead and make sure and send, if you're not connected to Adam already, go into Instagram at Adam Noreen Music and send him a DM. He'll find it in his filtered messages, and he'll search for it. But he'll be able to get with you and get a shirt to you. Get sizes, which one of the two shirts. They're both fantastic, so never a bad choice there. Who is going to be our second winner of the night, Adam?
Yeah, I was just scrolling up to find the question.
Okay.
And let me see here. Kyle Cook. Did you work with the same producers, engineers, collaborators on this one as the first? Appreciate that question. Gotta
give the applause. We live for the applause.
We do live for the applause. So the engineer that I work with, I've done everything that I have recorded over the last decade with Steve, and he is like an extension of myself. And so appreciate the question, because any chance I can reference Steve, I will. Thanks so much, Steve. If you guys are watching.
He's literally like a part of my soul as well. So
yes.
I love it. All right. Well, I want to thank the viewing audience out there. You guys have been hanging out with us for almost an hour and a half now. This has been so much fun. I first want to start off by thanking Constance for being our very special guest and hanging out with us here.
Thank you, guys.
Chiming in, sharing stories, and sharing just your pleasant personality and your lovely vocal talents to this project. I'm trying to make her feel good. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't have to lie.
Well, no.
That's what Adam, you paid me to do, Adam.
Thank you for having me, Adam and Pat DeBear. This was great. I'm just thrilled to be here.
Yeah,
absolutely thrilled.
And a huge thank you to Adam for, again, having me be the host of your virtual listening party. I hope I didn't screw it up too much. I think we've gotten it's gone pretty smoothly for a virtual event. I think it's gone fairly smoothly. But thank you for sharing this art with all of us. And music, especially in my life, has been a huge thing. So to help bring music into the world, into the masses in this way is a huge it's a huge honor to be asked to be a part of that. So thank you for that. And why don't you go ahead and we're going to cap this night off. Any last words that you want to say to the viewing audience out there? And tell us all a little bit about 918. And then we're going to close out the show with I will play a video. I got both of them. We'll try the non-lyric video, and that'll probably, even if it stutters a little bit, less of an issue. So we'll play that one out as we close out the evening. But yeah, so why don't you, any final thoughts from you, Adam, and then tell us a little bit about 918, and thank you all for watching.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. It was super exciting to be able to share this all with you before it comes out, which is in an hour and a half, by the way. But yeah, thank you all again for the questions. I'm sorry if we didn't get to any of yours, but feel free.
I think I got them all. I got them all.
I think
I tried to make sure. We had some great questions in there. I didn't want to leave any of them out.
Yeah. But I appreciate everybody who popped questions in there, and for the support. So yeah, I guess I'll go into talking about 918.
Do it.
Smooth transition. So this song is my optimistic ending to the EP, which is, for anyone who's listened to any of my music ever, probably noticed that this is probably one of the only optimistic songs I've ever written. But following the events of Crystal Mirror, that's what really sparked me into getting a closer bond with my friend at the time, Elle, who is now my partner. And 918 is a song that I wrote about our relationship and the impact that it's made on my life. So yeah, all the feels are in the song. But the song very much kind of talks about my story of moving to Austin and sort of like straying from my...
I knew would fall from under me, and then the fateful night drive my whole chrome to my apartment where I broke down all alone. So I called you and I said, I'm coming home tonight with the matchstick fire inside my mind. You made me the man I am, and I thank you for that every day. Sing me to sleep tonight so I can get lost in your voice. You made me the man I am, and I thank you for that every day. Straying from my own path, but you helped me find my way back home. No matter what comes next, I know that it will be okay as long as I am next to you. You always patiently wait for my mind to quiet this anxiety inside of me. So I called you and I said, I'm coming home tonight with the matchstick fire inside my mind. You made me the man I am, and I thank you for that every day. Sing me to sleep tonight so I can get lost in your voice. You made me the man I am, and I thank you for that every day. I finally found my way. I finally found my way. I'm coming home tonight with the matchstick fire inside my mind. Maybe the